Hi, Stoney.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm great. How long has it been since you've been in the Cluttered Corner?
Well, I was talking about it behind the scenes, and
Uh-huh.
I think it was about 3 years now, 3.25 years maybe.
Around the time of Velvet? Well,
The
good.
release of Velvet, my last album.
Well, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. I'm
I'm
so
so
excited
glad
to be
you
here.
could come.
You look fabulous, by the way.
Well, you're a sweet man. So, I have to ask you a burning question. Tell us about Taft, Texas.
Oh gosh. Well, this is a burning question. Well, let me put out the fire.
All right.
They told me I was born in Taft, Texas. Now,
And where is it? Do you know?
it's right outside of Corpus. I was
Oh,
told
okay.
between 11 and 14 miles outside of Corpus. I don't
Okay.
even know which way. I'm sad to say that. I was just born there. I never lived there. The hospital's not even there anymore,
Oh, wow.
which I think maintains the fact that my grandpa told me I was hatched. And so,
And you always believe your grandpa.
you always believe your grandpa was hatched or found under a cabbage leaf or something like that.
Now, that bunny story is a great story, the cabbage leaf. I've always liked that one.
Yeah, I like that
Well,
one.
I only asked because I thought, it's so interesting because everybody thinks of you, quite properly, as an Oklahoman.
Mhm.
But I thought it was kind of fascinating that you actually popped out in Texas.
Down here, yeah, in Texas.
In
I lived
South Texas.
South Texas of all. I lived in Pasadena for a while.
Really?
Rockport, Houston here, and lived in the Rio Grande Valley for a while with my grandparents. My grandpa retired from Ma Bell. Grandma and Grandpa moved us 3 boys up to Southeast Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I've been in Oklahoma since. I had a little stint in New Braunfels, but quite honestly, I've been living my past 17 years down here in Texas because, this is
Where it's at.
this is where it's at.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, then I guess that you could qualify to sing, or have Brian Burns sing to you. I've been everywhere in Texas.
I would love that. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be
That would
awesome.
be fun. Okay, so now, Aviator is a smash. Everything you do is a smash. What's the most fun right now?
Playing it for the fans and watching them sing along. It's so new. Aviator, I guess, being out now. It's October 29th of last year is when we released it, and just seeing the fans not only accept it like they did Velvet, but be a little bit more even emphatic about it, which it says a lot to the credit of the fans and the want to, and the culture is still very much alive.
Yes, and I think that one of the things that is particularly important right now is the world is absolutely inundated with new music, but you have to look sometimes to find the quality. It's not easily accessible, and I think it's kind of exciting that people are looking.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. I heard, on the radio the other day, some artist, and there's room for everything. Don't get me wrong, but I heard him just screaming cowboy at the top of his lungs, and he was really singing cowboy. And I was just like, well, what is the message there? What is there to see there? Why don't you just say cowboy, get on with it, and then teach me something about that?
I'm sure that the message is very deep, and it probably means that the West is over and it's the end of the cattle drives. It sounds like crap to me,
Well,
Stoney.
I love your imagination. I love your imagination.
Well, tell
Have
us.
you a great imagination?
I know that your songs are not of the superficial, simplistic type. I'll try to be polite and not say any more than that. Your songs are almost always about something.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make sure that you write into the song what you want people at least to notice, if not get?
Tried the impressionistic approach, like Pablo Picasso. Give his idea of what he thought, and then he let the emotion kind of be to the watcher, to the integrity of the. He believed in the people to take what he drew and evoked on canvas and make it their own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think without pride or ego, hopefully, and this is what Mondo Signs, who I co-wrote a lot of songs with, that's kind of his approach to songs too, which I just totally encompass, is that, if you take away the pride and the ego and the me about it, it offers everybody else a chance to give their point of view.
Right, right. And I do think, especially when you talk to people in focus groups or things like that, which I've done a lot of in my life, you find out that music very often does speak for people for things they can't quite speak themselves. And if you tell them too clearly what it's about, then you don't give them that freedom.
And you break their heart.
You break their heart, yes. That's true too. Well, we're getting a little deep here, I guess, so maybe we better stop that.
Okay.
So when you and Boland and McClure and all you crazy guys were sitting around trying to figure out what you're going to do when you grew up back in Oklahoma, where did you think you'd get? What was your goal for going ahead and putting yourself in the crazy music life?
Traveling the world in a band scenario. I'm just really trying to focus on getting the music to be heard by as many people as possible, and different cultures. You know, different. I wanted it to kind of be a language of the world. You know, like Creedence Clearwater Revival was the record of Vietnam to me.
Yes, it is.
And so I'd like to be the record of my generation. You know, and maybe I'm still working on that, but you know, so far so good.
So what's next for Stoney LaRue?
I'm thinking about working on a little record for the fans.
Oh, good.
But you know, right now I think the main focus is you know, really continuing with Aviator, focusing on getting those songs listened to and out there. Thank you very much for this opportunity, by the way.
Certainly.
And traveling, take care of my kids, and you know, being around people that I love.
Now, how do you know, we got a lot of dads in the Texas Red Dirt scene, a lot of them. How does that work? When you're gone and they're there and you got to get back on that bus or get back on that plane, how does that work?
Well, my kids, thankfully, haven't known a different life. And so, you know, and that's kind of the way I explain it, because that's kind of the way I grew up too. My dad was a bass player. My grandparents raised me, but that was kind of by default. But I'm closer, I live in Oklahoma City because my kids live there. And so it's easier to be around them in that way.
Right.
It is definitely tough being away from them, but the common goal is to teach your kids that you can do anything, that you can do what you love, and it's not really work, but you're changing people's outlooks, and you're changing the way that their DNA rattles around in their body for a positive and not a negative, and I think that's a good message to send.
I do too, and well worth any little sacrifice, as long as you know the kids are happy and I bet they are.
They have wonderful mothers.
That's great. That's great. Okay, it is virtually spring, which in Texas, of course, means summer.
That's right. Amanda was saying that earlier.
So, what you gonna do this summer?
Oh gosh, it's.
I know you're working all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kids defeats.
Yeah.
It's coming on festival season. So,
Yes, it is.
Which is, you know, kind of my favorite time of the year. I love just being outside, looking up at the sky, and just taking it all in, and you know, as a result, giving it all out musically. And I think you know, obviously, the culture of Texas loves to be outside too.
Right.
Barbecue, music, food, noise, fun.
Noise, more noise.
Yeah, please, more.
Well, if people want to find out where you're playing, where they can see you next, what's going on with you, where do they go?
We got a Facebook, we have, I turn into this red neck that just loses all this vernacular. You see that? We have a Facebook, we have Twitter, Instagram, we have a LaRue Crew app that you can download to your Android or iPhone.
Oh, that's cool.
Neat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's other ways.
Just plain old website.
Plain old StoneyLaRue.com as well.
That's a good place to go.
That's right.
Well, thank you for coming into the corner.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.